HP, the Hipster King from the Hairy Game Lords, and this evening, all four of us have been playing this. The Great Commission strategic card game from Word for Word Bible Comics. What did we think? Stay tuned to find out. The Great Commission is a Bible-based, unsurprisingly, strategic game. It is, in essence, well, it's a co-op that plays from 1 to 4. As with most co-ops, the game is going to kick you when you're down, rub your face in the mess, and try and beat you pretty horribly.
Murder your leaders.
And bearing in mind we played on easy, we'll tell you how we did later on, but it did what a good co-op game should do, which is make your life very, very difficult.
I've never played a game with so much sin in it.
So, really,
there was a lot of sin.
There was a lot of sin. And Dave did not enjoy the sin. So, really quick overview in terms of how the game plays. So, you set up a world deck that you've got, and depending on the number of players, it's basically 16 cards per player. And to win the game, you've got to get through that world deck. Basically, you're going out and you are trying to convert the world to Christianity. I say you, each individual person has a church. That church has got a specific power. So you've got, and there's a good bunch of these. So so there is a lot of replayability, I feel, in this game. Yep. So you've got your own church. You also have a named person, so you've got a deck of sort of unnamed people, their various races and things.
Leper.
Sadducees, that type of thing, from the Bible. And then you've got named people. So you've got Luke, you've got James the Just, you've got Simon Peter, you've got John, you've got Titus. And those are going to be your leaders. So you're going to have every player has a leader and a church, and then a starting hand of 6 of the sort of standard people and some what they called activity cards, which are like one, and you have one of those, which is like a one-shot little bonus that you can use at any point. And for those who are used to this kind of, for card games where you can basically exhaust cards, so you use a card and exhaust it to use it, and they're kind of multi-use cards. So you've got points on each card that you can. There's faith, there's wisdom, and there's resistance. And you can use, for different actions, you can use those powers and they sort of tot up, so you can maybe use 2 cards to get 7 or 8 points of something to do various bits. Or each of the cards has got its own specific sort of talent. Each of your people have got different talents, and you can tap the card.
Not tap the card,
no,
strictly speaking, do exhaust the card.
You can rotate the card by 90 degrees. And to use that talent.
Nobody got tapped.
And
that's a pretty big sin, actually.
I'm sorry.
Stealing from Wizards of the Coast.
Talking about sins, you probably can't see these, but these red-backed cards are your trouble cards. Basically, when you go out into the world and you try and convert, you're doing outreach. Depending on the resistance of the people that you're trying to outreach to and the faith that you go with, you kind of the cards battle off against each other. And if your faith outweighs their resistance, they become part of your church. If not, they go back into the world. So, which is painful because you decide how many cards you're going to draw. You don't do it one at a time. You just say pick 3 cards, and whatever that total is whatever it is. If you draw over 6 points of resistance, you're going to get a trouble card, and there's various different troubles. There are conflicts, there are spiritual things, there are sins, there are, I've said
possession, demon
and they
possession.
are pretty brutal, these things. We played the full set. There are some cards that you can remove that are a little bit nastier, things like leaders being martyrs and stuff like that.
Makes it more child friendly.
Yes, there's a child friendly version in there as well.
But the problem is, when you get these troubles, they're face down, and so your church, just by having troubles in it, loses faith.
Until you turn them over, and then they kick you in the... Yeah. So having
in the knees that you're praying on.
Yeah, having face down troubles at the end of the turn is really bad, because you lose faith, and if you get down to 0, everybody loses. If you discern them, I think's the word,
That's it.
and flip them face up, they then do horrible things to you and stops you using things like your talents or...
Unless you intercede, which is a different... There are two types of prayer. Intercession is one type of prayer that uses one of your values.
You can use one of your 2 actions a turn to try and get rid of them, but then you get less actions.
Yeah, that's it, because you...
Really quite unpleasant.
Yeah, 2 actions for each person each turn is it's tight, and
it
was really, really racking us for like making decisions throughout the game.
And you've only got 7 rounds, which each round you have an event, and again, that's the event deck. Massive deck to pick 7 cards from, and basically it's a seeded deck. So you have the start. You end with 2 good and 2 bad later events, which tend to be more powerful events, I think, from what we saw.
Right.
And then you start with a mixture of 3, so either 2 good and 1 bad, or 2 bad and 1 good, earlier ones. And they set up an event for the round which will either give you a blessing or kind of some kind of difficulty that is going to make your game a little bit more challenging.
Really harsh.
And some of them are really brutal, and some were really... And the difference between the events made a massive difference. When I say replayability, there's a huge stack of cards there which will give you lots to choose from.
Yeah. So I think, for me, in terms of the game, this game felt really thematic. The way that the things you're doing in the game, the mechanics of the game, and the theme of the game tied together so well, and like it brought the kind of the stress of managing a church, but also kind of like working together. And we did feel like we were far away from each other, but working on the same cause. And so I played as Jerusalem. And just by the way it was, I basically got prayer warriors in my church. And I thought it was awesome because, like, prayer, you can build other people's faith from across the world. Nobody else really appreciated that until about halfway through the game.
Yeah, because what he didn't do, at all,
was outreach.
Was drawing any of these cards to get through the deck. He left that to mainly me and Ange. I'm not entirely sure what
Dave's church.
Dave was like, he had.
I was the outreach king. Every turn, I was just like,
your
outreach,
chariot had its personalised
but I through it's a tableau builder, but through a bit of luck and judgment, I ended up with a couple of really good combos of being able to rotate through 90 degrees, my leader, who then got me an extra action, but then I had a couple of other people that could rotate her back through 90 degrees.
Which we hope is in the rules.
Which we hope is in the rules, but I kept basically rotating people here, there, and then getting extra actions. I did, however, end up with an awful lot of sin.
Yes, you did.
They've got into a lot of trouble.
A lot of sin.
So needed a lot of prayer.
Yeah.
Fortunately, because I had 11 billion people in my church, I did also have a couple of people that could turn 2 sins over a turn, and then I just had to get rid of the sin. But yeah, I ended up with an awful lot of people.
But again, the great, like, it worked thematically, didn't it?
Yeah.
So, like, the bigger the church, obviously, the more issues you're going to have in the church because there's more people in the church bringing in those issues.
James didn't really have any major troubles because there were only 3 people there.
Actually, the major trouble I had, and like, so I very quickly thought, this is exactly what I'm going to do, and I'm going to be really good at it, and I prayed, and that was it. Not me in the game, I prayed. And
Please can I win?
Please answer.
But then, like, of all of the troubles I got, and I flipped it over to see what it was martyrdom. My leaders, both of my leaders who were like my entire core of my engine were killed, murdered, and there was nothing I could do about it. And it was like a real blow to the church in Jerusalem and across the world.
We felt it, didn't we?
Whereas I think a couple of people died in my church, but you know.
Oh man!
A few did in mine, but actually,
Cam Clark died. He was quite useful.
They got possessed, so actually they jogged on. And it was helpful.
It was probably a good thing. Yeah.
They went off to a better place.
So in terms of the overall game, I guess it was rough.
It was
until the very last round. We'd still got a really large number of cards.
24 cards we needed to
And
clear on the last round.
And again, we've got to check. I mean, I'll be honest. The rule book, the rule book is a getting started rule book. There is that's what we use. There is a more in-depth rule book that you can access online, which we probably should have done because But let's play that we definitively did do everything right and we didn't break any rules in the game. It came down to the very last round, 24 cards on the table
and
to
we
get
thought
through.
we
were absolutely stuffed.
stuffed.
We had a really good, positive. We knew it was going to be a positive event because we'd had 2 bad ones, and you get 2 of each in the last.
But it was a fantastic.
It was a fantastic event, which allowed us to do a lot of to do more than we would have hoped. I got given a blessing that allowed us to untap.
Again. Oh my goodness!
To de-rotate through 90 degrees.
To encourage, I think is the word. To encourage a number of believers in each church, which allowed everybody to reset a lot of their. And the thing is, reset. Are we allowed to say reset?
Yeah, reset's fine.
So that's a standard word. That's not owned by any large major companies. Which allowed people then to use their kind of talent, their skills, if you like. You can't use the actions, but then some people have got characters that would give them an action. So again, we got down. I was able to use my prophet, who's able to look at the cards to come up, which meant that our accessing and when you go to outreach, knowing what points you need to use is really, really valuable.
Because when you go on outreach, you say, I've got this much faith, for example, I got 10 faith out of my little bunch of guys going out, and I'm going to turn over 3 cards. And then the leper comes out who's got 8. And you're like, oh!
It's got just on his own. Yeah.
And so we were able to burn through that. And on the last card that was left on the table, we'd got 1 outreach available. And we were able to look at that. And that was an activity card, which are free. So we were able to only just by the skin of our teeth.
Last action after I had chiselled many actions
because you have to still get through your final trouble round. And Andrew's got, I think he'd got 2 troubles, and when he was coming into the last round, he'd only got 2 life, so he needed prayer to increase that spirit in his church to up to a minimum of 5. But he also had a demon in his church or somebody who was possessed, which would lose one of those, so he needed to get to 6 to be safe. Which means he needed a lot of prayer, but there was very few actions left on the table as well. So that last round was an unbelievable game in and of itself. That was it was brilliant.
I think the thing that I was surprised by this game. So firstly, a lot of Bible-based board games aren't so good. This one's really good. But the thing that surprised me was you expect one thing from this game, but actually. It is a very good chained actions engine kind of building game, and both Pete and Dave went basically full James on this and squeezed every little ounce of action out of their churches, which I've not seen that from you guys and that kind of intensity before. But I wasn't expecting it from this, and I kind of enjoyed that about it.
So I think for me, these guys, what's the company called again? Word for Word. So they have done a number of Kickstarters that aren't game related. They are comics. They do amazing comics. So obviously, straight away, the artwork on the cards is really good. It's artwork that's taken from the comics. The comics are the Bible stories, and it's word for word scripture in comic format. Really cool, kind of gritty, really good artwork. So that artwork's featured. The one where James got the gritty one where his leaders are martyred, has somebody who's just holding a head up. It's gritty, it's real, but it was really cool. So I love the artwork, and my thoughts initially were: is there a decent game in here, or is it just great artwork? Well, you've heard our review. there's a great game in here.
Yeah.
Now, it is a difficult... I found, me and Dave always joke about how Pete always does the teach, or James takes it on sometimes as well. And they always joke about how me and Dave we don't listen.
Halfway through the game I go,
Dave and I learned by playing. And it felt like a tough teach at times. Because there's a lot of iconography on there. But
it does make sense.
It makes sense.
Once
and actually,
you start playing.
Literally within a few rounds, I'm like, oh, I fully get this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The cards are brilliant the way that they are multi-use, and they just make sense. Even when you exhaust a card.
You can't really see it on here, but one of the numbers here is only the right way up when you actually turn the card 90 degrees, and then it's suddenly the right way up.
Yeah.
It's just, that is actually really clever and thoughtful. So,
the writing isn't too small on the cards as well. There's a tiny little bit of flavour text at the bottom, which is scripture.
You don't need to read that anyway.
The blessings are really cool.
They're shiny.
They're like shiny, and they've got like scripture on it there. They look really cool. They're ace to have as well. Really powerful. Really powerful stuff.
And you take a blessing. You can either take blessing or spirit, which is like your church's power,
or a gift,
or for your when you're being prayed for. So that's how you get hold of those blessings. So there's again a balance. Do I go for the buff that the blessing will give me, or do I take the protection
I think we should
of increasing the spirit?
We should, but then you're not getting the spirit. That's the problem.
Yeah.
Some of these are really good.
And even down to the box. I love the box, it's great, but if you tilt it to the side and store it that way, it looks like you've got a Bible amongst your board games. Brilliant.
I think the thing that I would say, Dave the Heathen here, hi, how are you, is, again, we've played a few Bible games, and a number of them have been adequate at best, I think, is being polite. So I'm always a little bit unsure when it's like, oh, we've got this Bible-based game. It's like, oh, okay, we'll see how that pans out. But to me, it's another IP, and I've played many IP-based games that have been deeply adequate. To be honest, I would happily play this again, because to be honest, the first couple of rounds I found quite hard work just with the icons are all, there's quite a lot of them, and there's so what's commissioning, what's this, there's a lot of words floating around, but after a couple of rounds it all makes sense, and it is a really good engine builder. Certainly from my side, James was just sat in the corner doing not a lot on his knees.
He was supporting us.
He was
supporting us so that we could keep them go out.
But
you missed it when I wasn't praying for you, Dave.
But as an engine building sort of tableau builder, it was fantastic.
Really,
to be honest with you.
Yeah, it was.
And
great.
I as a non-faith person, I would 100% play that again.
So, who would you say this is for then? Because I think this is an interesting one with cars. I think it's, I don't know, you could learn it, but
I think
it's, I think to win it, you've got to have a gamer's brain, I'd say. Like, to eke all of that kind of out of it.
It doesn't feel like it's definitely not an
entry level
game. I don't
it's not that kind of like, oh, let's have a casual game of, oh my goodness, oh, my church is dead.
And to be fair, I mean, it took us it's probably 2.5 hours with a
good
teach,
for
maybe.
us.
That's not bad going at all. And you can play it kind of simultaneous as well, which we started doing the second half.
Yeah.
But yeah, it is quite
it's a meaty game, isn't it?
A meaty game. Yeah. It's I think
maybe that's what we bring to it though.
And probably, and this is in a good way, it's a proper game.
Yeah.
Which I'll be honest, I wasn't entirely expecting. It is absolutely a proper game.
Well
it's not a light let's play it in a board
very
game
true.
cafe with like a 10-minute learn of the rules. It is a proper card game.
And I think as a co-op as well, like, because you're all working towards the same goal, but like we had a really good kind of like completely level chat around the table. There was no quarterbacking at all in the game, which was really rare, I think, for a co-op game.
There was actually a lot of asking for advice and working out what's the best,
I mean, there was even one point when Dave said these words, "James, will you pray for me, please?"
There were also some points where I said some words about sin.
Oh, yeah.
But
You didn't like sin, did you?
this is a family-friendly review.
I also don't think you liked your church members very much.
No, some of my church members were highly irritating.
I think that goes.
So it's quite
by the
realistic,
line.
I
Very
guess.
realistic. So yeah, we loved it, didn't we? We loved this game.
How would you get hold of it, Ange?
Well, it is now. It has been through Kickstarter, and it is. I think it's gone through fulfillment, so you can go and check them. Probably even check out late pledges on the Kickstarter, or get in contact with the company. They will have stuff, and I guess they're probably looking for retailers as well.
It'll be word for word comic. No,
Word for word, BibleComic.com.
Yeah. So it's definitely worth checking out and getting involved with a solid game.
Yeah.
With some awesome artwork. Nice.